Um, so I'm going to tell the story of the first time that I went to Burning Man. Um, my best homegirl had gone the year before and wanted me to go with her. And in January, Burning Man's in August. In January, I applied for a low income ticket and I got accepted. So it was pretty much, I was like locked in, because a low income ticket special in that you don't have to pay until you get to the gate. And that year, low income was only $110, and it's usually $380 for a ticket. So I was like locked in. It was like the last bit of money I had to make was that $110 for the ticket. You know what I mean? Okay, for anyone who doesn't know what Burning Man is, it's a culture and art happening in the desert, Nevada, and it's 300 artist installations in like the middle of this giant salt flat land, and it's like 9 miles like in diameter, this area, and you're there for a week, and the conditions are like really harsh, but it's amazing. It's like Disney World for adults, except it's really different than Disney World in that nothing is for sale out there. It's like an in the moment experience. So I was locked in basically in like January to go to Burning Man in 2011, and we got like a group together, and then a couple of the people in our group bought a school bus, and it was like a big yellow school bus, and none of us knew that school buses are meant for like city driving, not really meant for cross country excursions. And so whatever, it was, we had no idea the clusterfuck that it was going to be. We had gotten some people from Houston and a couple people from Austin together, and we loaded up this giant school bus. They had built a rack on top for all of our stuff. They had like fixed it with an air conditioner. We were gonna like go to Nevada in this in this giant school bus. And there was actually another bus of people in Houston, but they had gotten a metro bus with a accordion in the middle. Like, it was so huge, it had the accordion middle, and they were gonna drive that all the way to Nevada too. So we leave Houston, we go to Austin, we pick up the people from Austin, and we get maybe 20 minutes away and the bus breaks down. And we're like fucked, basically. Okay, and at that time, I had been with my boyfriend for 6 years, and we're still together. We've been together for 9 years. But I was like, my first thought was, I'm not gonna call Gabe. I'm not gonna call him to come and pick me up. I'm an adult. Because it's like the go-to with your partner. You're like, I'm sick, take care of me. I'm stuck somewhere, come get me, And I was like, I'm not. I know we're really close to Austin. I was like, I'm not going to. So we go back to one of the people's house that we picked up in Austin. And we're all kind of just like looking at each other like, what do we do? Some of us had money, for gas and other things. And some of us did not, like me, who had like scrimped and saved, and literally all I had on me was the 110 I needed to get into the festival. I didn't even have food money. I had bought food, to eat during the festival, but I literally had nothing. So we're sitting there, it's like all of us, there's like 11 of us. And I just start crying immediately. I'm like, guys, I don't have any more money. And they're like, Sarah, that's not why you're around. You're here because, my friends are really sweet. They're like, because you're fun to be around and you're great in these kind of situations and you've got a good smile and a good attitude, a can-do attitude. So basically, the people that had money decided to pull it all together and rent a passenger van, like a 15-passenger van and a trailer. So we we managed to fit like half of our stuff, maybe, on the trailer. And all of our bikes somehow. We like took all the pedals off and like lined it on the trailer to get like 8 bikes. It was nuts. And it was very, very stressful, and it took like 2 days. But we left Austin. It was awesome. So we drove away, and then I think that's pretty much when I called my boyfriend and was like, hey, I'm not at Burning Man, I'm in Austin, but I'm leaving now, and we'll be fine, you know? And he's like, oh, okay. Like, basically, you know, at the beginning of our, like, learning process that I'm gonna kind of do what I'm gonna do, you know? So we get to Burning Man on Tuesday. The festival opened on Sunday, but it, you know, like I said, we were behind. The sun was coming up over the playa as we're like driving on. And some of us had not traveled very well. The stress of us breaking down and the stress of the group situation. Some people were not able to help us set up camp. It turned out being like 3 or 4 of us that could set up camp. And, you know, I'm small and I'm a chick. And so I was like, there's no fucking way that I'm going to be the weak link in the chain, you know? And so I like hossed all day, set up a Quonset hut. We set up a kitchen, you know, our tents, a yurt, like set up all day. And then the sun goes down. And Eric, who had traveled with us, he's like, I'm exhausted, I'm going to sleep. And I'm like, all right. Then my homegirl, the one who had actually like got me there, like had got me into Burning Man in the first place, she's like, I want to spin fire. And I was like, awesome. Well, I will safety you, which is like holding the towel for her, you know. I'll safety you, and then I'm going to go out. So she goes out in this big, like, I would say field, but it's just like this big empty area. And she's completely nude, and fire spins, hula hoop fire spins. And, you know, people are like, oh my God, is she naked? Is that fire? Like, everyone was really into it. And, yeah, so as soon as she was done, she was like, I'm going to sleep. And I was like, what the fuck is going on? Well, I didn't react like that. I was like, okay, are you sure? You know? And so it's like black of night now. So it's like 10 o'clock. And I thought to myself, there's no way I'm going to sleep after all of the shit. There's no way. And I was like, I didn't really know the lay of the land or anything. You know, we're kind of far out. It's set up like a clock with the inner circle being like A, B, C, D, E, F, G. And so we're on like G. So I was like, suited up, you know, dust mask, you know, my big playa jacket, headlamp, got the lights on my bike, and, you know, set out. And I found these like amazing installations and, you know, gorgeous people like, hey little girl, where are you going by yourself, you know? And I went out to the temple, which is this sacred space out at Burning Man. It's like people who have lost loved ones during the year, they'll leave memorials inside the space. And it's like the one not rowdy space. Like, people don't party there like they do everywhere else. Like, it's more of like a reverence, you know. And people mourn in that place, you know. But it was Tuesday, so it wasn't yet encrusted in memorials. And, you know, I got in there at like, I'd say it's probably 2 a.m. I'd made it to the temple, and I just kind of laid down on the ground in between some random hippies I didn't know, rolled up my jacket, and like went to sleep. Like, that's where you should go to sleep, you know. And the temple was amazing. It had these bells, automated Tibetan ringing bowls. So the sound was just like dun 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 dun, like really soft and just gorgeous. So I fell asleep there and woke up, and I could see just a little bit of light, but the sun hadn't come up yet. So I decided to make my way back to camp. And So I went like around the city and made one last stop at this place called Bubbles and Bass that had caught my eye because they had a light up disco floor. And there were 3 little cute chickadees hula hooping. And there was like a lounge area. I went and sat for a minute. And there was this like Scandinavian couple wrapped in a fur, lovingly like kissing each other, and like they had, you know, the accent, and like they looked like they could have been brother and sister, like both long blonde hair, like all tangled together, and then a man like being walked on a leash is like in front of me, and you know, I kind of had this moment where I was like, I'm not a freak, you know, I'm like way less freaky than these people. And so, you know, just enjoyed myself. Oh, and someone brought me an Abita beer, which is from Louisiana, and that's where I'm from. And so I was like, I really am home. They're not kidding when they call this place home. Like, anyways. So decided to make it back to camp, and right as I got there, the sun was coming up, and I like set up my camera and like just spread my arms out, and I was like rejoicing, you know, the sunrise, and I had this amazing night, and I made it happen for myself. Like, I don't know, it was pretty like defining of myself. I used to walk lots of places by myself, and I hadn't done it in such a long time. I have a partner in life now, you know, but like being on my own was like perfect. It was really perfect. And then, you know, that was my first like experience, my first night at Burning Man, and then, I mean, this year I'm going again, and it's like my 4th year to go, so I really love it. Okay, yeah. Awesome, cool.